everyone. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing why I don't like going to sleep. Hi, and welcome back to the Living Well with Schizophrenia channel. If you're new here, my name is Lauren and I make videos about what it's like to live with schizoaffective disorder or schizophrenia. If you'd like to see more videos from us, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notifications. And also, if you're interested in helping support the creation of these videos, please check out the link to our Patreon page in the description below. Once you become a patron, you also gain access to our private Discord community, where we offer various types of peer support, including weekly peer support groups. If this is of interest to you, please check out the link to our Patreon page. Also, I would just like to give a huge shout out and thank you to all of our current patrons. We could not be doing this without you. Thank you. Okay, so sleep is, a big issue when it comes to managing mental illnesses like schizoaffective disorder or schizophrenia. And I think it's important to kind of share a little bit about why sleep is so difficult for me. So there's the typical, issues around sleep where you can't sleep enough or you sleep too much and those kind of things. But there's also another factor that I want to talk about, which is the factor that I just don't like going to sleep. I don't want to go to sleep. This is for a number of reasons, but I think the most obvious one would be that, when I close my eyes, I tend to have a really overactive imagination, or maybe it's hallucinations. It's hard to tell because I'm closing my eyes and I can't actually see it, but I do see it in my eyelids. Hard to explain, but I guess basically an overactive imagination. And I see, patterns or shapes or things or scenarios playing out in my mind when I close my eyes. This can be fairly mundane, but it can also be a little bit scary at times if I'm envisioning more, scary things. And, I think I'm feeling particularly vulnerable when I'm alone at night in the dark, trying to enter subconsciousness. It's a little bit more vulnerable. And this kind of feeling also happens in instances like when I'm in the shower. When I close my eyes in the shower, I get the same sort of, hallucinations on the backs of my eyelids sort of thing. And my imagination runs wild there too. And I think it's this feeling of being a little bit more vulnerable. And so this is kind of why I've fallen into the habit of waiting for my partner, Rob, to go to sleep, because it just feels a little bit more safe and secure. Of course, now this also impacts the amount of sleep that I need and I'm thus not getting because I'm going to bed later when my partner goes to bed. Rob also wanted me to mention that it's impacting our relationship because I'm forcing him to go to bed earlier. And maybe it's fostering some more codependence, but I don't know, that's another video. And so there's this feeling of kind of being a little bit unnerving, experiencing this stimuli when I'm trying to go to sleep and I'm closing my eyes to go to sleep. For me, this feels pretty, frustrating because it's a time to kind of quiet your thoughts and calm down before you go to sleep. And my mind is just not always capable of doing that. It's kind of racing through a bunch of things and showing me a bunch of images and stuff. And it's hard to get into that state you need to get in order to fall asleep, which can be frustrating. And then, on top of all this, I think another big reason that I just don't like going to sleep is the kind of ingrained feeling around going to sleep that was, ingrained in me when I was dealing with really serious periods of depression, where I would make it through a day, be up at night, and nighttime felt kind of safe for me. And it felt like if I didn't go to bed, it could last forever. And I would just never have to engage in things I didn't want to engage in life. And it just felt like a safe time of day for me. And so I dreaded going to sleep because, then that nice safe period would end. And also it meant that I would have to wake up again in the morning and kind of do it all again. And I think that other people who may have experienced severe depression kind of understand this feeling of dread about having to get up again the next morning. And, there were even times where I, just wished that I wouldn't wake up. And so going to bed became this really kind of awful experience and something that I really tried to put off and avoid as much as possible. And so, I'm not in that place anymore where I dread losing that safe space at night or dread waking up in the morning. But I think that some of those thoughts and feelings about going to bed have kind of lingered and stuck around. And so all of this kind of culminates in, me avoiding bedtime still. And this has a few impacts because, I'm a person who needs quite a bit of sleep. Generally, I need about 9 or 10 hours in order to function well the next day and in order to keep my mental health in check and maintain wellness. When I'm moving my bedtime back, I still have to get up with my infant and my kids. And so it really cuts down on the amount of sleep that I can get, which impacts my mental health, which also impacts the quality of sleep that I'm getting when my mental health is deteriorating. So it kind of ends up being this bad cycle where I go to bed later, which, decreases my mental well-being, and then that impacts the quality of sleep I'm getting, which further decreases my mental well-being, which makes me want to stay up later and not go to bed, which, it just keeps spiraling like that. Another kind of factor about why I don't really like going to sleep is that sleep is often something that I struggle with. I think probably because of my illness and maybe medications or whatnot, but sleep is definitely something that I struggle at times with, whether it's waking up frequently throughout the night or not being able to fall asleep or waking up early. And it just kind of becomes this overwhelming task that I am not, always capable of doing a good job at. So to kind of address some of these things, I have tried sleep medication in the past, but I don't really like this because, I don't feel that I get the greatest quality of sleep when I take that medication. And also when I wake up in the morning, I wake up feeling very lethargic and groggy, even more so than I typically do because of the meds that I'm on, which isn't great and doesn't serve me well in terms of functioning well throughout the day. So some other things that I found have been important in terms of addressing this, not wanting to go to sleep at night, have been, keeping up with really good sleep hygiene. And if you want to learn more about what I mean when I say sleep hygiene, you can check out our video going over what sleep hygiene is and why it's important. Another thing that I've recently tried that I've actually found kind of helpful is a weighted blanket. So, what I was talking about feeling more vulnerable or unsafe or whatnot when you're going to sleep, that kind of helps with it. I've found that the extra weight on me helps to, calm me down, calm my mind down, and make me feel a little bit more safe and secure. I really only use this for, napping though, because I think I move around too much at night and it's kind of hard to move around under the weight of the blanket. So maybe that's a potential con of it, but it might be nice for just, getting you into a state where you can maybe fall asleep and then removing it and, going to sleep. So I always kind of thought that maybe it was just me who struggled with the idea of going to sleep and not wanting to go to sleep. But recently, through chatting with other people on our Discord community, I found out that I am not alone in this, and this is something that other people struggle with too. So knowing how important sleep is to maintaining good mental health, I would love to hear if you have any other tips for addressing this, if it's something that you experience too. If you'd like to share those in the comments below, we would love to hear from you. So I hope you found this video helpful or insightful in some way. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And also, if you want to see more from us, make sure to subscribe. Also, just a quick reminder that if you'd like to help support the creation of these videos, to please check out the link to our Patreon page. Thank you so much again for watching. And as always, wishing you and your loved ones good health. See you in the next video. Bye.